So we just got the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, and there was a ton of information we got in the Direct and also after the Direct. So I'm going to try to cover as much as I can, as concisely as possible for you guys here in this video. If you do enjoy this one, leave a like, subscribe for more. Let's go ahead and not waste any time and jump straight into this, because there is a lot to cover. Again, make sure you guys stick around, because there's a lot of Nintendo content for you guys that we're going to be covering. Reactions, walkthroughs, gameplays, news, whatever it is, man. It's going to be a huge year for Nintendo. So first things first, let's talk about some of the specs. I'm just going to go through this a little bit more rapid fire. The Switch 2 screen is 1080p. It can do up to 120 FPS. That is on the actual screen in handheld mode itself, that it is capable of that. The LCD, it's an LCD screen with HDR support. Joy-Cons are magnetic. It has bigger SL, SR buttons. We already knew that. Larger control sticks, thumbsticks. You already knew that as well. Mouse controls are confirmed for both Joy-Cons. They're going to be utilizing that in games like Metroid Prime 4, for example. If you want to use it like that, you can use the right Joy-Con to kind of like aim like as if it's a mouse, which is pretty crazy. And then of course the left stick to kind of move around and all that good stuff. There's improved speakers and clearer audio. They've vastly improved the audio. It's kind of like 3D audio and stuff like that. Built-in microphone that has noise canceling tech. So the microphone is actually built into the Switch itself. So even if it's like across the room, apparently it's going to be able to pick up your voice. I don't know. It seems a little bit weird that they wouldn't also have a microphone in the Joy-Cons or in the controllers, but they don't. It's literally across your room, wherever your actual console's sitting. So that might be a little bit weird for some setups. It'd be nice to see if they have, you know, some microphone accessories that are sold separately somehow, but as of now, it's just built into the actual Switch unit itself only. But anyway, so they have that. There's going to be game chat, party chat, you know, kind of thing. You can actually do video with the party chat. There's going to be some like this Nintendo Switch webcam kind of thing, camera you can buy, which we're going to talk about accessories in just a moment here. It comes with 250 gigs of storage, which is going to be faster storage. It does not use your standard micro SD cards. It uses the micro SD express cards only. So do keep that in mind. If you don't have an express card in your current Nintendo Switch, you're not going to be able to use that SD card. You're going to have to buy a new SD card is basically what I'm getting at. Okay, it sucks, but it is what it is. Obviously, we know about the new stand. It's larger, it's more sturdy. There's a USB-C port on top, which actually, one of the good things about that is if you're playing in handheld mode and you need to charge it while you're playing, or tabletop mode rather, you're playing in tabletop mode and you need to charge it. Well, the port's usually on the bottom, right? So that's getting a little bit weird. You can't really charge it when it's in tabletop mode. So that's going to be one thing you can use it for. Also the camera, the Nintendo Switch accessory plugs in via USB, so you can plug that to the top of the Switch. New dock supports 4K, so it is 4K resolution. Some of the games, for example, Metroid Prime 4 they showed off, is going to have a Nintendo Switch 2 version, and that one's going to be 4K. And so quality mode is going to be 4K 60 FPS, which is crazy. Performance mode is going to be 4K 120 FPS, which is absolutely insane. It's crazy. So there's a fan ventilation in the dock, backwards compatible with Switch 1, as I've mentioned previously. There's going to be some Nintendo Switch 2 games that are going to get enhanced versions of these games. Some of those games are Mario Party Jamboree, which they're coming out with this thing called Jamboree TV. It's kind of like this new edition. You can actually use the camera in certain ways. They're going to be adding a bunch of new mini games that's going to feature different things like utilizing the mouse controls, for example, the optical mouse controls on the Switch Joy-Cons. Some of the things are going to be using voice chat, where you're going to have to command the game to do things. So there's some pretty wild stuff that they're going to be doing with that. They're also coming out with enhanced versions, Nintendo Switch 2 versions of both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, which is going to have like HDR compatibility, smoother frame rate, obviously better resolution. It's going to be like 4K and whatnot. Pokemon ZA is going to be also have a Switch 2 version, Metroid Prime 4, as I just mentioned, and also Kirby Star Allies. So those are the ones we know of right now. Don't know if there's going to be more at a later date, but those are the ones that we're currently aware of. Anyways, so a little bit more information of the Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games. There's actually a website section of this as well, and if we go down a little bit, we can just see a little bit of an overview on the games that were mentioned. So new ways to play exclusive to Switch 2 Jamboree TV, new modes to use mouse controls, microphone and compatible USB camera, USB-C camera sold separately. Players appear within the game. Via camera play using a compatible USB-C camera sold separately. Game share compatibility for local multiplayer, which is another thing they were mentioning, is that there's going to be game share, which is basically the ability to locally share a game to play with people locally so they don't have to have the game. Again, this is more of a local thing. And then, of course, 1440p resolution in TV mode for Jamboree specifically. So this one's not going to be in 4K. Full 1080p in tabletop mode, handheld mode. Visually enhanced with improved frame rate. So that's going to be that. For Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild, it's going to support this new thing called Zelda Notes, which is a game-specific service via the Nintendo Switch app. One of the things about that is basically there's like a built-in GPS. You can basically mark something on your map in the game, and it'll talk to you like a GPS system and tell you, go north and turn here and blah, blah, blah. It's crazy. Improved frame rates and resolution, faster load times, HDR support, basically what I already said. And this is for both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Again, with Jamboree, there's a little bit more, listed, or they just kind of repeat what's here. Kirby, a new story called Star-Crossed World. So we got a brand new story as well, visually enhanced with improved frame rate. On Pokemon ZA, you get improved performance with higher frame rate and resolution. And then with Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, we got support for mouse controls, like I said, enhanced resolution, textures, load times. There's the quality mode. There's the performance mode. Both displays modes features HDR support. This is down here is where they talk about basically Nintendo Switch 2 edition games you can buy at retailers that sell video games. The My Nintendo Store, Nintendo eShop. Look for the Nintendo Switch 2 logo and additional information on the front of the packaging and all that, so you can see that. What if you already have the games, right? Well, if you have Mario Kart, if you have Super Mario Party Jamboree, well, then you can buy the upgrade pack. It's an additional purchase, and then you have the kind of Switch 2 version of the game. It's an upgrade pack. It's an upgrade version. Now, we don't know exactly how much it's going to be. Unfortunately, I don't think it shows anywhere yet. Hopefully it's not too pricey, but I guess maybe it also depends on game to game. One thing I also want to note is we actually have our first look at the UI. Let me see if I can open this a little bit bigger well, no, I can't really. We get a little bit of a look at the UI. It pretty much looks almost identical to the current Switch. There is a little thing that looks like a mail thing, maybe like messages or something. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit bummed out they didn't kind of, refresh the UI a little bit more than this. A little bit disappointed on that one, but it's like it has a little bit more of a sleek look, I guess. But yeah, overall, the Switch 2 UI pretty much looks the same. And that's kind of a little bit of a quick kind of side note there. There's also going to be free updates for some Nintendo Switch games. So if we actually head over to one of the Nintendo websites here, you can see some of the free updates. Now, I don't exactly know. They don't go into details what these updates are. These are not the same as the Nintendo Switch 2 version. So you can see, for example, in here, there's ARMS, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Super Mario Odyssey, etc. They say at the very top, free updates to improve playability on the Switch 2 system will be released for select Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch games, Switch 1 games. Assumingly, this is not going to be like an actual like upgrade. It's going to be more like maybe like an upscale. I guess it'll just like it'll be upscaled to like 4K or something. It's not getting the same treatment as Nintendo Switch versions of game or Nintendo Switch 2 versions of games. But again, you can see there's a few different games that they're listing here: Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Echoes of Wisdom, excuse me, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Link's Awakening, Super Mario Odyssey, and different things like that. Hopefully at some point they make like Switch 2 versions of these games, but for now, that's just, we're just getting free updates basically with those ones. So this is not something maybe you need to know, but it's probably interesting. We'll get to more of the need to know stuff in a second, but Nintendo Switch 2 box art. If you're wondering what they look like, it's really nice, kind of like red box art. It has a Nintendo Switch 2 logo and whatever. So it's like, I don't know, if you find that interesting, it's interesting. Apparently, at least some, I don't know if it's going to be all. This has kind of been going around. Some of the game cartridges say that the full game is not actually on there. So I assume it's kind of like a license, like some of the games on PlayStation and Xbox kind of do, where you buy the disc, but it's really just a license to kind of, it's a license to download the game. So I hope they're not doing that with every game. It might just be for some games that are a little bit too big to fit on the card. Nintendo Switch 2 game key card overview, which explains the whole thing that like these don't have like the game cards themselves are basically licenses. So let's just look and see what they say right here. So game key cards are different from regular game cards because they don't contain the full game data. Instead, the game key card is your key to downloading the full game to your system via the internet. I don't like that a lot of companies are doing that. It's basically you're just getting a license on the physical card, and then you can download it. I don't like that, because what happens at some point down the line in 10 years from now, when Nintendo shuts down the Nintendo Switch 2 eShop, and you want to be able to play these games. I think this is very problematic in many ways. But anyways, after it's downloaded, you can play the game by inserting the game key card into your system, starting it up like a standard physical game card, basically making it sound like game cards are pointless because you don't have the game on there. It's just a license. So this is definitely a major downside in my opinion. Here's what game key card packaging looks like. So if there is a game, it shows right here, if there is a game that has it, it will tell you on the front. On the bottom of the game, it will tell you. So this is not necessarily every single game. And the reason I say this is not every single game as well is because if you checked out the box art that I showed you guys earlier, a lot of the games like Donkey Kong Bonanza doesn't have that little thing on the packaging from what I can see. Mario Kart World does not have that on the packaging either from what I can see. So it seems like this is going to be not every single game. So, to Nintendo's credit, obviously, like I said, what happens when they shut down the eShop? Well, I don't know which games this is going to include, because from the packaging I can see so far, this isn't those games. It basically tells you how it works and yada, yada. So that's kind of how it works. But again, maybe it's just going to apply to very, very large games. For example, I'm thinking like, Final Fantasy VII remake we just mentioned is coming to Switch 2. That might be a game that has this. It might not be Nintendo Switch first party. I hope Nintendo steers clear from this, from the first party games, because again, you don't want this to be something where it's like, well, then what happens? People love collecting physical versions of Nintendo games. And so I just hope that that's not the case. So yeah, again, it's not for every single game. Wanted to make sure that was crystal clear. In terms of game prices, the game prices get a little bit mixed and matched. So, for example, with the new Mario Kart World, it's actually going to be $79.99 USD. For the new Donkey Kong game, Donkey Kong Bonanza, it's actually $69.99 USD. So it's like Nintendo said before, it kind of depends on the game and the scale of the game, I guess, which is kind of interesting. That just kind of tells you how huge Mario Kart World, I guess, is going to be. And it looks pretty massive, to be quite honest. If you haven't seen the trailer, check it out. It's insane. So that's one thing. The other thing that some people were noting is that digital versions of games are going to be $10 less, at least for some of the games. I don't know if it's going to be like this for all the games. I don't know if it's like, again, if it's going to be across the board, but some of the games it seems that are going to be $10 less if you buy them digital, which is kind of a nice incentive, I think. I don't think like Sony and Microsoft do that on their consoles. I don't, as far as I recall, which is stupid because it's like you're not getting anything physical out of it and you're paying this exact same price. So I think that's a nice incentive. If you're going to go digital, then it's going to be a little bit cheaper. But again, the prices do vary. So do keep that in mind. Game to game, like I said, the new Donkey Kong is going to be $10 cheaper no matter what. And apparently some of the games, if you get them digital, they're going to be even cheaper than that. Now, let's go into the how to buy and release date and stuff. Okay, so the release date, if you don't know, it's going to be June 5th. Pre-order is going to be opening up April 9th. Okay, so at the time of recording this is currently April 2nd, a week from now. Pre-order is going to be opening up. There are also going to be some, My Nintendo store is going to be one of the places you can actually pre-order this thing. Obviously, your local retailers, I assume GameStop, if you're in North America. I don't know what they have in other regions. Best Buy, assumingly, Walmart, I would assume as well. I haven't heard anything from them as of right now, but yeah, I would assume there as well. So if you go to the site, you can see the site I'm on. It's Nintendo.com basically, and it's Switch 2, how to buy. You can just go to the Switch 2 website. It tells you how to buy, right? So this is, for now, this website is for US and Canada. You have to be 18 years or older, all this different stuff. And you can register. You can sign in with your account and register your interest in purchasing the system and select accessories from the My Nintendo store, and then they'll be in touch with an invitation once it's your turn to shop. Now, there's some additional information I'm going to tell you about in terms of like how they kind of select people, I guess. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure where. So someone, Octolamar in my Discord, he's seen this on another Discord, and that's kind of where I found it. And I'll show you guys. Well, let me just show you guys right now, I guess. So if you see the image, it basically shows you how they choose to kind of select the initial invites or invitees will be selected on the following base criteria. And again, I'm not sure which region this is from. That's the only thing I'm unsure of. I don't know if this is the UK. I don't know where this is from, but this might be applicable for North America. It says basically your Nintendo Switch Online membership status. So if you've been a Nintendo Switch Online member for at least 2 years continuously by the time it's March 31st, 2025, then that's one thing that's going to take into consideration, and also having an active membership. If you have opted in to receive promotional emails from Nintendo, that's another thing. And then your playtime, interestingly enough. So that's actually cool. So if that's how they're going to choose people, as a first come, first serve basis, that allows people that are actually, massive Nintendo fans to get first dibs at this, which, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's cool. Again, I don't know if this is, I don't know which region this is. I'm not 100% sure. I tried to look everywhere to see if I could find it myself, and this is the only place I found it. So let's continue on the website though, and see what else there is. So basically you have a pick from, there's only showing one right now. So it says you won't be able to change your system selection once registered. Oh, that's my problem. I accidentally registered for the wrong bundle. Oh, well, I guess I'm locked in for the Mario Kart one. I was going to get Mario Kart either way, so it doesn't matter. It's going to be 449 USD. If it's just the console. It's going to be 500 USD if it's the console plus the digital version of Mario Kart World. Now, if you're Canadian like me, this gets very pricey. For just the console, it's $630 Canadian. For the console plus Mario Kart, it's going to be $699. So basically $700 Canadian. It's pretty pricey. So that sucks. But here we are. I mean, the economy is not great. So, it talks about like how will they be notified and this and that. And it says, priority requirements are as of follows. As of April 2nd, you must have been the one who purchased the Nintendo Switch Online membership. You must have had any paid Nintendo Switch Online membership for a minimum of 12 months, and you must have opted in to share gameplay data and at least have 50 hours of total gameplay hours. So this one here on the North American, I'm actually on the American website right now. That's what it's saying here. So I don't know what that other screenshot was about. Maybe it's in the UK, but this is how it is here. The first batch of, the first batch of invitations will go out starting May 8th, which doesn't really make sense, with additional batches of information periodically until purchasing on My Nintendo Store is open to everyone, is what it says here. So I'm not actually sure. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me because, the pre-orders technically open up on April 9th. It says elsewhere. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's up with that. And I don't know. I guess we'll have to figure that out. Some of the other things you can see that are listed here, it's like, where do I ship? Or where do you ship? Can you pick up in the store? Blah, blah. It's going to ship basically across, North America, essentially. They also cannot guarantee launch day, I guess, delivery, right? And delivery is not guaranteed, due to processing and shipment time. So not sure how that's going to work. That's going to be unfortunate. What about, what should I do to prepare my 72-hour purchase window and whatnot, and has information there. Can you purchase accessories too? Please purchase all desired items in the same order during your 72-hour purchase window. So you're gonna have 72 hours basically to do this. Also, there's a limit, one system and one of each accessory per eligible Nintendo account during the invitation period. So that's pretty much how to like buy it and whatnot. Again, April 9th is when the pre-orders open up, but yet at the same time in the facts section on the Nintendo website, it says something about May, which is throwing me a little bit of a curveball because I didn't see that prior to this. In terms of accessories, we're going to talk about a couple different things with accessories. So we have compatible accessories from Switch 1 on Switch 2, and then we also have Switch 2 exclusive accessories. First things first. In terms of compatibility, your Joy-Con controllers from the Switch 1 are compatible. The Nintendo Switch Pro controller is compatible. All of the Nintendo Switch Online classic controllers, so the NES, Super NES, and N64 controllers, and also the Sega Genesis control pad, they are all compatible as well. Your dock is not compatible. Your adjustable charging stand for Nintendo Switch is not compatible. The AC adapter, not compatible. The HDMI cable that is included with Nintendo Switch it's not compatible because I guess there's a special HDMI. I'm assuming it's an HDMI 2.1 for the Nintendo Switch 2, while the one for Switch, I'm not sure if it's like a 1.4 or if it's a 2.0. Either way, it's the HDMI cable that's going to come with the Switch 2 is different. It supports that extra resolution and frame rate and VRR, which is variable refresh rate, which has been confirmed as well. Micro SD cards, like I already mentioned, is not compatible. The Nintendo GameCube controller adapter, thankfully, is compatible, and the Joy-Con straps, of course, are not compatible. They're compatible with the Joy-Cons from the Switch 1 that you're going to use on the Switch 2, but they're not compatible with the Switch 1 Joy-Cons. Anyways, Joy-Con grip, obviously not compatible. These are compatible with the Switch 1 accessories, but not with the Switch 2 accessories, right? The Joy-Con charging grip, obviously not. The Joy-Con wheels, not. You know, anything that you basically put the Joy-Cons in, you cannot put the Joy-Con 2 or Switch 2 Joy-Cons in, right? So the ring con, the leg straps are not compatible because those are fit for the Switch 1 Joy-Cons, right? So all of those, the charging stand, not compatible. So these are all things that are not compatible with it. Now, those are the accessories for the Switch 1 that are compatible or not compatible with the Switch 2. But then we also have the actual Nintendo Switch 2 accessories as well. As you see, we're on the website here. So Nintendo Switch 2 accessories, there's the Pro controller. It looks a little bit different. It looks very similar, but a little bit different. There's a headphone jack on the bottom. There is 2 different buttons on the grips, so you can map those if you want. It's almost like having like an Elite kind of controller, I guess, where you have those extra buttons so you don't have to take your thumbs off the sticks. So that's actually a huge thing that you may not, maybe you don't care about, but anyways, I care about. There is the C button. So the C button has to do with I don't think I already mentioned this. The C button on the Joy-Cons and on this has to do with chat. It's a C for chat. So the C button means you get to open up your chat options. So this one has the C button, which is nice. You know, you're not going to be able to open up the chat, I guess, with a normal Pro controller. So yeah, and again, there's some nice quality of life improvements here as well. It looks a little sleeker. I don't know if it's going to feel a little bit different, but those new buttons are really nice as well on the back. And like I said, the audio jack as well, which is pretty cool. The Joy-Con controllers. By the way, this is going to cost you $80 USD. So if you're Canadian, that's pushing like $90 or $100 Canadian, which sucks. Joy-Cons are listed for $90 USD, which I think is probably like maybe 10 or 20 bucks more than the Joy-Con 1 controllers. I don't know. So if you want the extra controllers, yeah, those are going to cost you $90 USD. The Joy-Con grip, the charging grip specifically, is going to cost you $34.99, 35 bucks USD, which is nice. But here's the thing. Here's a very interesting thing about this one. Let me open this. It says right here, this, where is it? It features the GL and the GR buttons, which can be custom mapped. So this is not just a charging grip. This is a charging grip that gives you 2 additional buttons as well, which is a nice extra incentive. The Joy-Con straps are going to be 13 bucks USD if you want extra straps for whatever reason. The Joy-Con 2 wheels, so if you want the wheels for Mario Kart, which is nice that they're colored blue and red, those are going to cost 20 bucks for that. Set includes 1 blue and 1 light red accessory, so you're getting both for 20 bucks. So it's like 10 bucks each. And then under the other section, the Nintendo Switch 2 camera. If you haven't seen the camera yet, basically this is what the camera is going to work like. You plug it into the top of the Switch. It's adjustable, whatever. USB-C. $50 USD. Includes the cable and all that. So yeah, if you do want the camera, you can get that. It also has, when you're not using the camera, you can cover the lens with a built-in privacy shutter, which is cool. So it actually comes with that. Nintendo Switch 2 dock set. This is very interesting. You can replace your Nintendo Switch 2 dock or set up a second one. If you want to get a second dock, it's going to cost you $110 USD. It comes with the HDMI cable and AC adapter as well, which is nice. And again, this is an ultra high-speed HDMI cable. Nintendo Switch 2 carrying case and screen protector, 35 bucks. Looks nice. Simple. You can get the all-in-one carrying case for $80, and the way this works is you can see you can put everything in it. It has a pouch or a mesh pouch to put all your your cables and stuff. It can carry your dock. It can carry your grips and even a pro controller and all that. So it's really nice. If you want another AC adapter, it's going to cost you $30 for that. Seems a little bit pricey. $30. Micro SD cards, ones that are licensed, they're going to be selling in select retailers and all that. And that's pretty much it for the accessories section. This is just kind of like a quick little mention is some of the games that they're mentioning. So there's like new games, upgrade packs, all that. We're getting Mario Kart World as a brand new Mario Kart game. It's massive. If you haven't checked that out yet, definitely check it out. It's going to be a launch title. There's a free roam option where you can just basically cruise around this huge massive world. It's crazy. It is the biggest Mario Kart I think I've ever seen in my life. We're also getting Donkey Kong Bonanza, which this one's actually going to be releasing July 17th. So it's not going to be a launch title. It's going to be about a month later. So we're getting mostly just Mario Kart as a big first party. And then of course later on, we don't know when these are going to be released. My guess is Metroid Prime 4 is going to be closer to Christmas, but that's going to be later on this year. There's new Kirby Air Riders they announced, which is going to be available 2025. This other game, Drag Drive, it's kind of like a wheelchair basketball kind of game where you use both Joy-Cons and like a mouse and sort of like motion and mouse controls kind of mixed, I guess. The Welcome Tour, weirdly, this is not a free game. This is going to cost, I don't know how much, but it basically takes you through a tour of the Nintendo Switch 2 system. Weird that that's not going to be a free game, but anyways. And a new game called The Dusk Bloods from Software, which is going to be next year. So that's pretty much that. And then there's a bunch of like third-party games they announced, which is insane. Hades, Split Fiction, which I highly recommend. Played it on my other channel. Cyberpunk 2077, surprisingly, is coming. Borderlands 4, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which you would assume maybe Rebirth at some point will come. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4, Bravely Default. Hogwarts Legacy is getting a new version, which also includes Joy-Con 2 mouse support. Civilization 7, again, also mouse support. Elden Ring is a big one as well. Lots of different games you can see here. Star Wars Outlaws, for example, like the new 007, Project 007 that's being worked on. Is also coming to Switch 2, Hitman World of Assassination, and a few other games you can see here. So pretty massive stuff. And then of course probably some like updates for some other games here, like they say like Fortnite and whatnot, and some 2K games like WWE and NBA and EA Madden, EA FC, and a bunch of different stuff here, Silk Song and Hades 2, I think was mentioned above, and all that good stuff. So a lot of different stuff in terms of games. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything you need to know. I mean, there's obviously going to be more stuff we're going to be talking about as things kind of go along, but that's the gist of it. That's like the bulk of what you really kind of need to know, the essentials, if you will. If there's more stuff, we'll cover it in different videos. We've been posting different videos. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it useful, please do consider leaving a like, subscribe for more, and let me know if you guys plan to pick up a Nintendo Switch 2 day one. Why or why not? Do you plan to wait a little bit? And which games are you most excited about? I'm really excited about, obviously, Mario Kart World, and the new Donkey Kong looks really good as well. And, obviously it's going to be a pretty big year for Nintendo. We got Pokemon ZA. We got, of course, also Metroid Prime 4 and then the enhanced versions of some of the Switch 1 games. I will say it does feel a little bit light on the launch games or launch window games in term. Well, I think launch specifically, because launch window is pretty solid. Because really launch day one, we're getting some enhanced games, and then we're getting Mario Kart World, which is really good. I was just hoping for maybe one other, but we don't have to wait long. Donkey Kong is like the next month anyways, so in July. So let me know your thoughts, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Till the next one, friends, game on. Thanks for watching. See you guys soon.